Sean Dunderdale. BBC Radio Lincolnshire.
7:15 on a rather wet Friday morning. We were thinking about sending Harry out and about somewhere outdoors in the rain, but no, we're being nice to him today. So instead, we've sent him to go trampolining, among all things. Harry.
Yes, that's right. I'm out between Lincoln and Gainsborough in Ingham. It's a sort of little village. And I'm actually in a sort of showroom at the moment in a company called Plum. And there's loads of different things around me. Also, it's like a children's playground. It's brilliant. There's like a wooden teepee over there. There's a swing set. There's some lots of little slides and all these different sorts of playground equipment. I don't quite know what that is, but it looks like if you pour a bucket of water at the top, it'll all start trickling down, a bit like Mousetrap, that game. It's a bit of a kaleidoscope of things here. So let's find out a bit more from Paul Schaefer, the managing director of the company. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thanks for letting us in. And I haven't mentioned this trampoline that's next to me, but we'll probably touch on the trampoline or maybe get on it later. But first of all, what is Plum, and what do you do? I mean, I've mentioned all the outdoor play stuff.
So we're an outdoor active play brand. So we're a family company, started over 33 years ago. We've got an office in Hong Kong and Sydney. We're selling to over 40 different countries now, and we basically specialise in anything which gets your kids outdoors, off the screens, and enjoying nature and part of the natural, I'd say, honest, authentic play.
Well, it's fantastic, yeah. And this is all born in Lincolnshire here, as you said. Was it your mum and dad?
Yeah, so my mum and dad actually started in sort of London area, but then we basically had a warehouse up here for the whole time, and now we've got the distribution centre has been here and the head office for the whole business for the last 15 years.
Wow. So this is a Lincolnshire company that's going from strength to strength. I understand you're growing and spreading around the world.
Absolutely, we're growing at a fast pace. I think it's we've sort of really accelerated our growth over the last couple of years, but we're looking at some really big number increases over this year, next year, and we've sort of got big growth aiming for like 50 million in the next 3 years.
Wow, 50 million sales or 50 million pounds?
50 million pounds turnover, yeah. So we're really fast tracking that, and we're doing bringing out some fantastic new products, some great marketing and that's such really exciting times at the moment.
Wow, I mean, this is exciting. I mean, it's exciting enough just being surrounded by all this play equipment without hearing that, this is all Lincolnshire born. And also, from what I gather, you design and make some, well, maybe not manufacture them, but design and market everything here from the base here in Ingham.
Yeah, we do all the product design. We do that all in house. So we've got our team all based here, just upstairs actually. We do all of that side, and the marketing team all sitting upstairs as well on that front.
Wow, it's all very, very exciting. And in the last year, with this kind of lockdown situation, have you noticed a change in the kind of attitudes towards outdoor play equipment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people have changed the way they act and the way they behave. I think people have spent a lot more time at home, so that people are generally incredibly house proud, and our products sit perfectly in those gardens. And I'm sure lots of kids jumping on Zoom calls, not going out, where to burn the energy, and trampolines and swing sets, sitting in the back garden, really been fantastic for that, keeping them active.
Yeah, keeping kids active. And so you've noticed an increase in sales, have you?
Yeah, absolutely. We were looking to grow anyway, and I think what's happened is we've seen a huge surge in demand, and also the way people have interacted with their children, more interacting with their children, just because of the way the situation's happened. Kids can't get out with interacting with other people, so the parents have really taken a big, strong interest in that.
Yeah, and what could you put a number on it in terms of like how much it's increased in the last year or so, or since lockdowns began all those moons ago?
Yeah, in terms of the business, our business has grown over 40% over last year, and we're looking to further grow over this year and the year after. So I think we were going to be growing anyway, and it's sort of, I guess, fast track that, especially with that international side, which is one of the biggest arms now of the business.
Wow, that's amazing. And things like we hear sometimes about Brexit getting in the way and things like that. That seems to be nothing, leaving that in the wake almost. The Brexit bounce with the trampoline here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly caused us some serious some challenges in Europe, but at the end of the day, we're still growing in Europe. There's still 250 million Europeans that we still want to sell to us. We still want to get trampolines. We still want swing sets, and kids there, like the same thing as kids here. So it's, for us, we're dealing with those challenges, but it's sort of also presenting itself with opportunities as well, which we're taking.
Amazing. Paul Schaefer here at Plum, and as I mentioned, Sean, there is an enormous trampoline next to me. Yes. I haven't even touched it yet, but I'm very excited. And you know what? it's not just a normal trampoline. It looks kind of like a bowl. It's got like all these extra cables and bungee ropes and all this sort of stuff. So maybe just a bit. Maybe when I'm done talking about all the serious stuff, we can enjoy a bit of bouncing. But as long as I don't put my back out.
Have we filled the forms in for health and safety? Have we done all that? Yeah, good. Yeah, we'll see.
I'll
Thank
tick
you.
the boxes.
Tick the box. I'm sure. There we go. Harry Parkhill there at a business with plenty of ups and downs. Back with him later. Harry's in Ingham, having a bouncy old time with the trampoline company there. What is he doing? What is that noise?
Oh, well, I'm basically just playing in a playground that they've got set up here in this warehouse. It's got like a plastic shield thing that you can paint on with these outdoor paints. It's got little wooden decorations and panpipes and wind chimes and slides and everything. And you mentioned a big trampoline in the centre. It's a bowl. It's got like all these extra bungee cords and all this sort of stuff strapped to it. But as you say, I'm at Plum Play. This is in Ingham between Lincoln and Gainsborough. And apparently they sell millions and millions of things every year. Let's talk to Philip James, who's one of the sales directors here. How many trampolines have you sold in the business's lifetime?
Well, it's well over 2 million now, Harry. So there's a lot of children bouncing out there at the moment in back gardens, and that's globally, not just obviously here in the UK. So as we look to expand as a business, so that trampoline trend is continuing.
Well, amazing. There really is a bounce, isn't there, in sales, and especially in the last year. Sorry, I can see you shaking your head.
I know I could say they seesawed, but no, they really have rocketed during the pandemic. It's obviously parents have looked to entertain those children in the back gardens. Last year here in the UK, we had some fantastic weather in March and April. Maybe not so much here today in Lincolnshire, but that really helped us as well. As children were off school, parents really looked to entertain those children during that period, and also get children back outdoors playing as well, and away from screens and Zoom, etc., with the grandparents.
Yeah, and of course, if you've been spending your day doing lessons over Zoom, then something like going outside at the weekends is essential, really, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. There's a massive, obviously, drive at the moment towards getting fit and healthy among children, etc. And obviously with the huge play as well on mental health with children during the pandemic, there's nothing better than getting them outdoors, and whether it be a trampoline, a wooden swing set, a metal seesaw, it gets them outdoor and playing. And that's what we're all about here at Plum as a brand, really, is that whole mental health, well-being and really fitness.
And you design a lot of the things here, and the boss we were talking to earlier, he mentioned in passing that one of the trampolines that you guys have designed was featured in that John Lewis advert with the dog bouncing up and down. Is that right?
Yes, it was. Yes, you might remember Buster. Seems quite a while ago now, to be honest. But again, things recognition like that, our partnerships with our key retailers such as John Lewis. Only helps to really propel us forward, and obviously that whole trampoline period as well around Buster again gives a real nice bounce.
Yeah.
Apologies.
That's fine. And the bowl here. So this is I keep describing it. It's called the bowl. It looks a bit like a bowl. And it's got all these bungee things. This is like a brand new thing that you've just designed, and I guess it sounds like it might be trying to counteract that idea of drunken parents getting on the trampoline trying to do a flip, because it looks a little bit more safe.
I'm definitely not going to advocate the drunken parents on the trampoline, so, but I think we all know at a barbecue we've seen people do that. But this is the bowl. It's a great new product. Again, as you can sort of see, it is very much a bowl shape. So again, you've got a side bounce rather than a flat bounce. So learning again from the big trampoline parks trend that we see on the commercial side, bringing that into a back garden so they can have that same excitement, but also safety as well. We think it's the safest product as well out there in the market because of the shape, the curvature, which again is always forcing the jumper to stay within the product. So we launched it probably 2 years ago, and it's had phenomenal sales since, obviously aided by the pandemic. But we've got big things for this product moving forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're surrounded. I mentioned these wooden things, the wind chimes and all this sort of stuff. Like mud pie kitchens and so on. And it seems like that there's almost a drive to kind of be a bit more, potentially a bit more natural as well. With you've got this wooden teepee thing and the wooden swing sets. A lot of this idea of maybe trying to move slightly away from those plastic or those metal kind of products.
Yeah, obviously we've seen a big consumer trend at the moment to move away from one-use plastic. We see that in our supermarkets with plastic bags. And obviously that's just one use at the moment. But that will trickle down as well. So I'm sure your listeners there will all be more conscious maybe about plastic. So from a Plum perspective, with all of our wooden products, all FSC, sustainably sourced, etc., that really will aid us as well moving forward as a brand, because that's what we're about, really. We want to, help the planet as well, globally, as we sell globally.
There you go. Philip James here at Plum, which is seen a huge rise in the sales of all these sorts of outdoor play equipment, including that trampoline that I really am eyeing up for later, Sean.
So now, though, let's go back to Harry Parkhill. He's in Ingham for us today. This company that makes, among many things, trampolines. Sells loads of them.
Absolutely right. Yes, I'm standing next to this trampoline at the moment. It's got oh yeah, got a bit of a squeak on that. That's the sort of foam outer layer that protects the barriers, the sort of wire frame of the trampoline. It's an unusual trampoline. It's a big bowl. It's like you jump in it and then you can bounce from the sides, and it's got the netting all over it. And apparently there's been a big rise in demand for outdoor games and outdoor sort of play equipment like your slides and your swings, and even think that little mud kitchens that you could get, these little kitchens with little tiny pots and pans for the kids to make mud pies and all that sort of stuff. Loads of these things here at Plum Play in Ingham between Gainsborough and Lincoln. And I've got David Woodman, one of the directors here, who's in charge of product development and designing the products right here in Lincolnshire. Is that right?
Yes, good morning.
Morning. So, first of all, how do you go about coming up with something new and changing, say, something like a trampoline, which we all know what a trampoline does, but how do you improve on that and then make something special to sell to the public?
Well, if you look at the trampoline market, all of the trampolines out there are very similar. So we wanted to do something different. We got together as a group, got all of our heads together, came up with some ideas, some sketches, some designs, brainstormed, lots of different options. Once we got the drawing together, we then sent it to the factory. We got a team over in China that work on the development of the product. I travel regularly to China to work with the team there, and we made samples, lots of different samples, tried lots of different ideas, lots of different methods, and over sort of 2.5, 3 years, we went from a drawing to what you see in front of you now.
And it is amazing. I mean, it's coming up with something like this. I'm guessing you're influenced by those sort of trampoline companies that you go to like a trampoline warehouse and they have all these things that you bounce off the walls and do all those sorts of things. And that's kind of the vibe you're going for, is it?
Yeah, and that was exactly where we came from. The trampoline parks were taking off, and we wanted to bring trampoline parks into the back garden. It's also safety. That trampoline is probably the safest trampoline in the world. When you jump on the sides, it throws you back into the middle. It doesn't try and push you off the trampoline, and it takes trampoline into a new dimension. Instead of just being vertical up and down, you can jump sideways. You can run around it. It's just great fun for everybody, really.
And I'd imagine there must have been an element in your minds when you hear about trampolines. Parents get their kids these trampolines, and the kids are enjoying it throughout the day. And then there's like a barbecue or something, and there's a few beers flowing, and you get the dad who reckons he can do a flip and ends up putting his foot through the side or hurting himself in some way. There's a bit of that, isn't there? That it's a lot harder by the looks of things to do damage to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, safety throughout the business. Safety is one of our main priorities. We want kids to have fun, but they have to be safe. So all of our products have to get tested to European, American, worldwide standards, really. So we're lucky we have a lot of knowledge and experience in the business. So when we develop a product, we know what we can and can't do right from the word go. But yeah, safety is built in. It's an integral part of the design. It has to be.
And trampolines, you sold about 2 million of them in the lifetime of the business, but they have seen a surge in the last year, and all this sort of stuff has.
Yeah, I mean, I think people with the pandemic, people have realised how important outdoor play is and how important being able to get into your garden is. They haven't been able to do much else, so we've seen a big upsurge in sale on trampolines, swing sets. It just means that people can get outside, kids can burn off that energy that they need to get rid of, and we've done really well, and hopefully we've helped a lot of families to get their kids exercised and get some of that energy burnt off.
Yeah, absolutely. When they're not out in the playground with all their school kids, their colleagues, I'd imagine that they need something in the garden. So there we go. That's here at Plum Play. I think, Sean, I'm going to ascend the steps and have a test it out in a few minutes' time. It's actually got some quite fancy sort of rubberized steps. So I'm getting on the steps now.
All right, careful.
Oh no, we're just running out of time, Sean.
Careful.
We're just running out of time.
We'll come back to you in 10
come
minutes.
Back to me in a few minutes.
Back all morning, Harry Parkhill has been hinting quite strongly that he would like to go on a trampoline. He's been at this business in Ingham, where they sell them, where they make them. They've been selling them all over the place, actually. And there's been a boom, it's fair to say, a bit of a bounce, if I may, with lockdown. People at home getting the trampolines. So, Harry, it is Friday. We have checked the forms. And if you want to go on the trampoline, if you want to have a little bit of a play, as long as you take your tie off, then you can do.
Yes, but I'm not taking the tie off. Yes, you're right, though. I am here at Plum in Ingham, between Gainsborough. I'm just standing, and Lincoln, and I'm just standing next to the big trampoline. It's called a bowl. It's got like a bowl shape on it. The sort of trampoline kind of angles its way up at the edge, so it looks a bit like a dish. And I've got Philip James, the one of the sales directors here. And just before we talk about get me on this trampoline, because I'm desperate to go on it, how much does this trampoline cost? Is it a pricey back garden thing?
It's a great investment. It's £1,500 retail, so it's a great investment for the garden, and it's something, you know, the neighbours will look over that fence and think, oh, we want one of those. So
I think it's more likely you'll be looking over the neighbour's fence, because you're, well, half looking over and half not, because you'll be bouncing up and down. But yeah, so 50 is quite a pricey one, but you do have kind of a range of things that, you know, goes to those, down to those really small trampolines that the real young'uns can use.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we go down to like a 3-foot trampoline, you know, ranging from sort of $49.99. So we've got a broad spectrum of price points, features, something we like to think fits for anybody's use.
And you've been selling millions of these.
Yeah, we've sold over 2 million in the history of the business, and we can only see it growing as the pandemic obviously has created a real growth spurt on this type of product. We're going to sell even more going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just telling you a story just before we went on air about my dad assembling our swing set when we were very young, and sort of it was at Christmas time, and the motion sensor on the light for the garden kept turning off, and he kept like gesturing at it. Do you have to self-assemble all of these things, including this, it must be said, massive trampoline?
Yeah, it is all self-assembly. We try and make it as easy as possible for the consumer. So if you just jump online and go onto some of the different video sites now, we like to do some assembly instructions. So look, we're here to help, Joanne. So we want to get these products built as quickly as possible and get those kids entertained in the garden. I
can imagine, because they're going to be desperate. You know, so they see it in the shop, they go, or see it online or whatever, and they go, oh yeah, build that, and then, you know, parents are looking at the instructions going, oh my God, this is going to take me a whole day.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when those boxes arrive at that front door, you've got those children nagging you to get it built. So, yeah, look, it's quite easy. I'm not the most practical guy myself, but I'm proud to say that I find it quite easy to build this thing. So I'm sure all your listeners will be fine with a lot of the assembly here.
Absolutely fine. Right, okay, thanks, Philip, for that. Now, I'm going to get onto this trampoline because I'm just so desperate to have a go. So I'm going to ascend the steps. I'm just going to detangle my wires briefly because I don't want them hanging me as I jump up the steps. So is it shoes off policy?
Shoes off.
Shoes off, okay, yeah, so shoes off. I'll climb up these, so they're slightly rubbery steps. I've got blue on them.
Tie off.
And the tie. No, I'm leaving the tie. The tie.
You can't go on a trampoline
Mind
with
the
a
trousers,
tie.
yeah. Yeah, right, and then, oh, okay, I've got to stand on this bit. There's a zip. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So get in there and just
slide down.
Oh, I've got a line down. Oh, yeah. So we're on. Okay, we're on. Now, I've got to say, this is probably brand new, so it probably won't make even a bit of noise. Usually they're a bit squeaky, aren't they? But we'll see. Oh, hey!
Oh, he's doing it.
Look at that.
He's
and
going.
my thing's flying around. My pass, my BBC pass is flopping around. Oh, it's not bad. It's got some spring to it. Go for the side. Here we go.